People have said it for years.
Bailey, you have a black cloud hanging over you all the time.
Now, there's a podcast to hear those dumbass stories of misery and triumph. Welcome to Bailey's Black Cloud Podcast.
This is episode 49, believe it or not. Bailey's Black Cloud Podcast. My name is Jason Bailey. Thanks for being here. I am in the Golden Scissors studio in beautiful Roswell, Georgia. There's Nate. Are you going to change the backdrop often, or are you always going to have that? Not that I don't like it, but...
Yeah, probably. This is just, I want to get a green screen, so this is just temporary.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. And until Brandon comes back to the Golden Scissors studio, he is going to continue to look like he's broadcasting from a nursing home, which I think is so fucking hilarious. Somebody pointed that out. Poor Brandon. You know, like, you expect it when you do radio, like, to get called out on shit, right? You know, because you're going to have people that listen for other people in the room, or they're just, you know, they just want to be a troll. They just want to be a dick. So you expect that in radio. In the podcast world, you know, people specifically... get to these podcasts, whether it's ours or anybody else's, because they enjoy the content and they enjoy the personalities. So you're not going to get a bunch of bullshit that comes back, right? If they don't like it, they're just going to disappear. They're not going to subscribe, or they're, in this case, for Wednesday's episodes, they're just not going to listen. Nobody listens to podcasts because there's nothing else to listen to. Let's put it that way. Yeah. But Brandon's the first time that I've seen, at least with us, that people have called him out on lack of. You know, when we started Smarta-Marta, people had this expectation of how Nate used to do Smarta-Marta. Now, to give Brandon a little bit of credit and to come to his defense, he's not used to going out and getting the audio. He doesn't know the specific people, the specific stops. You know, Nate mastered Smarta-Marta. And it wasn't, you know, as good as it was towards the end at the beginning. Nate had to figure it out, and he did. He did a bang-up job, the best in the business to ever do Smarta-Marta, because no one's ever done it, because it's our idea. When I say our idea, I'm looking at you guys and then, you know, Brandy. So Brandon on social media, people are like, you know, Brandon, I like you, man, but I think you got to get better at picking out Smarta-Martians. But yesterday's Smarta-Marta, people liked. That was like kind of old school OG. That was, people are going, that's the Smarta-Marta that I want. So nicely done, Brandon. Good job.
Yeah, I think I know the kind of people to talk to now. I think I got that. It's
not a race thing, even though our former employer thought it was a race thing. It's not a race thing. Has nothing to do with the color of their skin. It's just a certain type of person at a certain place on MARTA. Right, Nate?
Right, totally. Yeah. And a lot of times it's the people that'll come up and talk to you. Hey, how's your day doing? Or how's your day going? You know, it's those outgoing, fun people that just want to talk to people in, you know, in a public situation.
Right. Yeah. By the way, if people want to know why the bit was killed, it was forced because new management thought that it was racist. And this is coming from the same person that compared to African-American athletes as dance monkeys. Okay. So, you know, you kind of go to the source and go, okay, you've got an ulterior motive. You've got an agenda. You were just kind of picking apart the show one by one. You think you're smart and strategic, but I saw it coming 2 years ago. So you're not that smart, and you're not that good either, by the way. Definitely not talented at all. So anyway, today's Black Cloud's going to be a little bit different because this is kind of a 3 degrees. And I've noticed this. I'm blaming this all on Yellowstone, today's Black Cloud. The Black Cloud is, I think, Yellowstone. This is the first time in a long time, if ever, a television show has had a possible black cloud effect on me and could possibly have a black cloud effect on other people. You follow me so far, Nate?
Yes.
Do you have any idea where I'm going? Would you like to guess before I get to my point?
No. All I can think of is you maybe have talked to somebody about this show and you spoiled it from them and then they're pissed off.
No, it has nothing to do with that at all.
Okay.
Zero to do with that. You guys have seen Yellowstone, okay? And I'm all caught up. You know, I'm waiting for season 5. But when I was quarantined which today, by the way, is I'm out. Today's my first day being out, but I still got to wear the mask, I guess, for 5 days. That's why Brandon's not in the Golden Scissor studio, blah, blah, blah. So Yellowstone is all about revenge. I mean, it is not, it's like ethical revenge is what it is, and there's a pro to it, and there are pros to it, and there's a con to it. The pro is it's showing America what, in my opinion, justice should be. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You don't give anybody a pass. You hold people accountable for their actions. You don't fuck with family. You don't cross the line. And if you do, your ass gets served for it, And when I say your ass gets served for it, it's not one of those things where you go on social media and you post a meme of Michael Jordan crying and you make it saying, this is what I'm going to make you someday. That's not getting your ass served. Getting your ass served is getting your ass knocked out, and that's an old school justice, right? But that was like, whether you do it or not, you had it in the back of your mind that if you cross the line, that could possibly happen to you. So it made people for generations not do stupid shit that people now do when they hide behind keyboards, right? Right. Or screens or monitors or whatever the case may be. So back to my point of the black cloud. Yellowstone has made me revert. I think it's Yellowstone. Has made me revert back to almost what I used to be, which I tried to get away from when I moved to Atlanta almost 10 years ago. Now, Nate, you knew me in Orlando, right? And you knew how, I don't know, let's just use the word passionate I was. But I had a temper when things didn't go my way because I was always searching for perfection, which you can never achieve. But it's those that strive for perfection are the hardest workers in the room. And those types of people, like myself, we have a tendency to carry baggage with us. We have a tendency to have a scarlet letter on us as difficult to work with or, whatever the case may be. But once you get under that and realize that's not the case, that you just don't accept incompetence, then you look at that person in a different way. Now, there are certain people that you'll work with or you'll befriend or whatever the case may be that won't be anywhere near the hardest worker in the room, or they will stab you in the back, or they'll do things that are unethical in the real world, by the unwritten rules of life, and nothing happens to them. Well, if you're on Yellowstone, you get killed. You get shot, you get blown up, you get bitten by a snake, something fucking happens to you. And I'm watching this show and I'm going, what the fuck have I become in the past 10 years? Like, this isn't me. Like, I've tried to get rid of that self-gratification, that instant gratification of revenge, because thinking that it's such a negative thing to hold that it makes you go insane. But I got to tell you, I think Yellowstone has reverted me back to to who I really am and going, there's nothing wrong with revenge. Because again, that's holding people accountable. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, because in the Yellowstone world, you can't survive without, like, now you can, do whatever and still get away with it and nothing really happens because I don't know whether it's a job or society or whatever will prop you up. Yellowstone, it's like kill or be killed. And so you have to fight for yourself.
Yeah, so it's just that I hate the way the world gives people passes. I just don't like it. And I don't have to subscribe to it. They say it's just too big. You've got to play the game. I don't want to play the game. I don't believe in the game. I think the game is bullshit. I think more people that are honest and upfront and hold people accountable and set them straight, the world would be a better place. Why should you change in order to satisfy people that you don't even fucking know when they're wrong? They're completely wrong, 110% wrong. Why should you change to satisfy their needs? That just means that they get away with it or they play the game better according to society's standards. I don't think that's fair. And I've been doing that, for the past 10 years, because I was so worried about my reputation and to carry baggage of being difficult to work with or an asshole or this and this and that. I'm not any of those things. I'm the nicest fucking dude in the world. But when you're incompetent, and Brandon sees this with me because he's learning, right? And I know that, so I give him a pass. The good thing is I like Brandon, But Brandon, you're no different than how mine and Nate's relationship started. When Nate fucked up, I tore him apart. I mean, not every time, but like royal fuck ups. Oh, dude, I'd hand Nate his ass.
Yeah.
And look, Nate and I are the bestest of friends. I think he likes me. He's only tried to kill me 3 times. But Brandon, you'd probably be a good. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Does this make any sense to you?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know if it's worth your time though to get revenge.
That's the other thing. Is it worth your time? Because then you get into the conversation of if you're spending time dealing with A when you could be dealing with B, that's not good. That's bad you. That's right. Not healthy, not smart. That's just not productive. So that I agree with. So how do you meet in the middle? Again, in Yellowstone, they strategically kill people. Right.
They do.
Have you gotten to the cooler with the snake part yet?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That might be the best killing ever. Nate, have you gotten to that part yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I won't tell you who dies from it, but
Okay, thanks.
there is a cooler with a snake, and it's pretty fucking badass. It's like, it's quick and to the point, and that show is all about revenge. That's the concept of the show. I'm surprised that almost 150 million people support the show because it goes against everything that society is today. Society is a very pussy, like, hey man, I'm sorry, dude, it's cool, while these fucking tough guy nerds are winning the war behind their keyboards because nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's chasing them down and punching them in the fucking nose, and more people should be doing that, in my opinion. Chasing them fucking down and punching them in the nose. Because if you've ever been punched in the nose, not to do it again. It hurts, So just that mentality. I miss being that guy. I was that guy. I am that guy. But I changed because I thought that that's what a good leader and a good manager should do. But now that Yellowstone has consumed my life, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be John Dutton. All right? From now on, I'm John Dutton. So, Brandon, we don't have an HR department at Bailey Entertainment, LLC. There's a chance you might get punched in the nose one day.
Okay. I already get attacked by 3 dogs on the way in.
Nate, he films it every time that the dogs chase him.
Does he?
They're getting smarter. Now they look out the window at me and they're like, "Oh, he's coming. Let's get ready."
What do they do? Are they nipping at you, or
Yeah,
are
they're
just
nipping at my ankles. I mean, they'll toss themselves down the stairs just to try and get my ankles.
We've had to get on a schedule where I'm like, Brandon, don't ring the doorbell. So he just texts me when he's outside. And if I remember, I'll just leave the door unlocked. We're at that point now where you can just walk in my house. And he jets from the front door down to the studio. He's like filming the whole time. He's doing it. Does anything that I just said make sense?
It does. But I think the reason that it's popular today is because I don't think of the show more as revenge. I think of it as a respect thing because they go after somebody because they've been disrespected. And respect is still a big thing today. I mean, even if you want to say some of the PC world today, that's why there will be a big deal made about something. Oh, you can't say that, it's disrespectful or whatever. Where if that happened back then, yeah, it was disrespectful, but they're going to come kill you for it. So maybe that's why people are kind of buying into it.
Well, it's not back then. Yellowstone's current day. It's not 1883.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of the prequel.
Yeah, I mean Yellowstone. How they get away with it. I mean, I know it's a television show, but I do know that there are places in this country and we talked about this on a prior episode, Murder Mountain in California with the weed grows. There's places in Murder Mountain that cops don't go because they have their own rules, their own laws. You move to anywhere, especially small town USA, they're going to have their own rules. And law enforcement in that town are going to abide by those rules. So you have to adjust, right? In a lot of these small towns, they still subscribe to the old school theory is, you disrespect, you get punched in the nose. Revenge, you get punched in the nose, or worse. You had it coming, right? It's just, that's you had it coming.
Yeah.
You reap what you sow.
And it's similar to maybe something in like the city, like the quote unquote streets. A lot of gang violence or whatever it is, or just violence in general, isn't about, well, some of it's about money, but a lot of it's just respect. Hey, you said this about my crew, or you disrespected my woman or whatever, and then they get shot up or whatever. So it's almost it's like the city, or the Yellowstone is like the country version of the city respect thing. Well,
I disagree with something you just said a couple minutes ago, is respect is still a thing. It might be in certain places, like the example you just gave, but the overall idea of respect is missing. You look at every one of these Karen situations, right? There's no respect at all. Like what, and then you have to define, like, what would be the respect? Is it the person not wearing the mask? Are they disrespecting everybody else because there's, a pandemic going on? Or is it the person that's over the top wearing the mask that feels the need to tell you what to do and get in your personal space? So who's wrong in that situation? Who's the one that's disrespecting who?
Well, I think they both are. If somebody doesn't want to wear a mask and nobody's saying anything to them, that's respecting what they want to do, and then vice versa. But if either one of them says something to each other, then that's disrespectful.
I agree. And the solution to that is, what is the rule, right? You can't tell somebody to do something without any guidelines. If you're not in charge, nobody's going to fucking listen to you. Right? Nobody's going to, if there's a sign on the window that says no shirts, no shoes, no service, and you walk into that store with no shirt and no shoes and you expect service, every single person in that restaurant has the right to go up to you and say, get the fuck out. And if you don't, they have the right to punch you in the nose, because that's the rule of the land, right? But the problem with this pandemic is that nobody set the rules. Our leaders never set the rules. Local government never set the rules. And when they did set the rules, they were so wishy-washy and back and forth, and they were there, they were gone, they were there, they were gone. So nobody is on the same page because nobody knows the rules, which then creates a clusterfuck for the rest of us. And that's why we're disrespecting each other, because there are no rules, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But usually the people that are saying something is in a place where there is a rule. Well, if you're in a store and they say, hey, put your mask on or whatever, there's usually a rule for that store. If there isn't a rule for that store, then you have no business saying anything.
Yeah, but then you can have a concrete solution. Like, let's say during the height of the pandemic, not saying that now is not, but the height of the pandemic, that one situation at a Trader Joe's, I think in California, there was a woman that, I just want my amendment. And it was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. I just work here. I'm the manager. Our corporate rule is you have to wear a mask in this building. It is a private business. This is the rule of our private business. Trader Joe's is right. That's their house. They can do what they want to do. And if you don't agree with it, tough titty, said the kitty, but the milk tastes good, right? That is not your call. That is Trader Joe's call. Now, if Trader Joe's in that situation said, I've seen this site, we strongly recommend that you wear masks. Okay, well, that's not a rule. That's wishy-washy. You can strongly recommend all you want, but people that don't buy into it and don't give a fuck aren't going to wear it, and nor should they, because you're not telling them to do it. That's not your rule. So if you go into said Trader Joe's, just as an example, and you're not wearing a mask, then nobody in Trader Joe's has the right to say something to you, because Trader Joe's is the one at fault, or whatever the business is.
Well, and then there's also maybe not that mass situation, but just things in general that are kind of like unwritten rules. Like if you were in public and there's some kid or some guy cussing around your kid, there's no law that says you can't do that. But you're probably going to say, hey, can you not do that? You're going to say something to him. It's just one of those like societal unwritten rules.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always had the mindset, and I've always said this. I've got a life hit list. There are people in my life that have said things to me and done things to me that on a daily basis I can remember like it was 5 minutes ago. And that has always pushed me to be successful. And I consider myself at 46 so far successful. And it's because of my drive. It's because of my work ethic. And it's because I know better than most. I know that sounds very egotistical, but it's just, it's a God-given gift. I'm sorry. And, and I look at people like Sister Lucia, my principal in high school, my Catholic high school that I went to, Cardinal Mooney. This woman was a bitch. And she sat there across the desk from me and my mother after I was pulled into the office because I was showing public display of affection with my girlfriend of 4 years at the time. I was holding her hand. That's all I was doing. Now, granted, there's a rule at the school that says no PDA, public display of affection. I was breaking the rule. Okay, so should I have been in trouble? Absolutely. Did they tell me prior? Probably, most likely. Okay, my fault, my bad. I'm a kid. I'm stupid. I'm such a renegade. But this bitch pulls me in her office with my mother and sits across the desk and looks at both of us and tells my mother that I'll never amount to anything, quote unquote, from a nun because of public display of fucking affection, you Satan worshiping bitch. You would say that to a kid because he was holding his girlfriend's hand? Are you fucking nuts? Like that's but to me, I looked at that and I walked out of that office and said, okay, we'll see. I got you. And there are those specific times. Now, is that revenge? Yeah, I guess to an extent, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like that's like almost motivation, but she wasn't meaning it to be motivation. You were just using it as that.
Well, then you have to, I guess, maybe it depends on the person, but revenge and motivation kind of go hand in hand with me. Like, I'm not going to go, let's just make this clear. I'm not going out to kill people like in Yellowstone. Okay, I'm just using that as an example. There is some entertainment to this podcast. Okay, so relax. I'm not going out there putting a snake in a Yeti and throwing it into somebody's face. Okay, it's not happening. But I think that motivation and success is the ultimate revenge.
Yeah.
And I think calling somebody out on their bullshit and watching them suffer, if it doesn't take, as to Brandon's point, a lot of time out of your life, watching somebody else fail because they deserve it, and you can help with that, that's okay as well.
Yeah, it's hard because I kind of agree with what Brandon's saying. Like, you don't want to take too much time out, but then it's so frustrating when people just get away, like they'll never learn if nobody ever calls them out.
Yeah, but who cares if they learn? I mean, it's not your problem.
Unless it affects you.
Yeah, unless it affects you.
You know,
if you're still working with them or you got to see them every day, but if, you leave them and they're still stupid and doing their own thing, let them do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, but I agree. Like, part of it is looking at yourself, but then also what is your purpose here on earth? I'm not saying that's your purpose, but why donate money or go help the homeless? Well, it's not your problem, but it's the right thing to do as a human in society or whatever. So maybe calling someone out on something is doing the right thing for society to help it progress.
Have you ever, Brandon, had somebody say something to you that pissed you off to the 10th degree to motivate you to be so successful that would be the ultimate revenge? Because you want to punch him. I wanted to punch that nun. I really did. When I was in that meeting, I wanted to punch her. And at that time in my life, as angry as I was, I'm surprised I didn't. But instead, that was the lesson that I learned. Maybe say God told me. I was in a Catholic church in a nun's office, and that's when I learned at that time of my life that success is the best revenge. Have you ever had that?
I mean, I'm sure I have, and I know I have, but I can't remember a certain time because I try not to think about it a lot. Things that make me mad.
See, you should. You should have a fire that burns in you. You know, there should be some kind of, the devil poking you with his elbow a little bit in the rib cage every once and again, saying, hey, dum-dum, let's get our shit together. We got people to fucking prove wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Most professional athletes, their motivation was proving someone wrong. You ask a lot of artists, this would actually be a great concept for a book, is to go through successful artists, because 99% of them, if not higher, were turned down numerous times. They shopped their music from label to label, and they went into these, especially you take some of these old school guys when rules were a lot different, and you could be, as much of a dick as you wanted. You'd walk into this office and they'd play the record. That executive would go, shit, I don't want anything to do with that. I'll give you an example, actually. So one of the most successful artists of all time, this is a story about them. I'm not going to name names, but I know this is a fact. Probably not too many people, if anybody, knows this story. They were coming out from a hiatus in their career, and they put out a new album. And they were trying to partner up with a major broadcasting company. The person that was running that broadcasting company at the time is on the phone with said artist and tells them that the album's no good. So that artist, who already had tons of success years prior, says, go fuck yourself. Don't use my name. Don't use my brand. Don't play any of my older songs on any of your radio stations, and went about it a different way. And once again became as successful as they were before, even more successful as they reinvented their career, came off of a hiatus. But even after being successful, that artist is still motivated by revenge. Success is the ultimate revenge, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's a true story, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Well, what if they told them the album was good, and then they like, can you make another one? And they're like, yeah, that was really good. Let me make another one.
Well, that wouldn't be this conversation then, would it?
No, but, well, I guess not, yeah.
Well, what if they told them it was, what if they just played to their, whoever they were, and said, oh, it's great, but it wasn't. And then it comes back on you because it looks like you're playing shit music.
Yeah. Well, I'm just telling you, I don't know for a fact if they cared as much as I'm making it out to be, but one could assume. Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan was cut from his freshman basketball team in high school. I'm sure at some point when he was cut, someone, whether it was a coach or not, told Michael Jordan, you're just not that good. Or you need to get better in order to make... There was something said, I guarantee, to Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player to ever live. There's no conversation. You count the rings and say, you're just not good enough to be on the team. I mean, I would think, just like any other professional athlete would think, not that I'm kind of one with tennis, but, when you have your failures and people try to bump you down, it's motivation to be successful because you're proving them wrong. It lights the fire. And some people say that's unhealthy. And that's what whenever I talk about life's hit list, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, and to your example, not even just Michael Jordan with his high school team or whatever. If you watch The Last Dance, it was fucking everything in his life. Like somebody would say something to him and he's like, oh, okay, we'll see how that is. And then he goes on the court the next game and he just destroys them. And he used everything in his life as motivation to beat them the next time. Yeah,
people would, in The Last Dance, they said that. They the smart opponents would not fuck with Michael Jordan. You would not try to get into his head because the way to beat
That was
Mike,
fuel.
Yeah, it was fuel. It was fuel to the fire. Same with Tom Brady. You've heard defenders in the NFL say, dude, you don't want to piss him off. He plays to this level that's ridiculous. You don't want to piss him off. So that affects your game. You kind of have to be passive, right? You can't,
Right.
no cheap shots, no late hits. And, it's like it's like you just want to not be there because all you're doing is fueling the monster. And that to me is healthy. That to me is positive. And I think I've forgotten that along the way because I've been trying to appease other people, too worried about what's at stake, so on and so forth. So thank you to the Duttons. Thank you to Rip Wheeler. Thank you to Yellowstone for making me realize how wrong I've been for the past decade and needing to go back to where I was. Thank you. I appreciate that. All from a fucking television show. Isn't that amazing?
That's crazy.
I mean, some people do take it too far when their art teacher tells them they're no good and they take over a country and kill 7 million Jews.
Hitler?
Hitler.
Is that it? Tell me more about your Hitler stories. Is that
Apparently,
what happened?
Yeah, apparently his art teacher told him he was no good and he could never be an artist. He really liked to paint. They're like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's not going to work for you.
Really? I never knew that. That's very interesting.
There is a line between revenge and then, and one of your sayings, don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, I don't know if you're saying, but you would go by that. And so I think there's a kind of a happy medium in between.
Yes.
Just letting it go and using it.
Yes, you're right. You just have to find it. And that's all part of the game of life. I did not know that about Hitler. I can't give the guy props, but yeah, I guess it's kind of very similar, but just done in a not good fashion. I don't know. Was this art teacher Jewish?
I think she was.
Wow, really?
I don't know exactly.
If his art teacher was Jewish, the entire Holocaust was because of that motherfucking person that bashed on a crazy motherfucker in our class.
Wasn't he Jewish though?
Was Hitler? I don't know. Was he?
I thought he was like part Jewish or something.
What the fuck is
Well, he was
doing?
obviously a little crazy because he thought the best race was blonde hair, blue eyes, and he had brown hair and brown eyes. So I don't know how people followed that guy.
Yeah, he was a little bit all over the. But this would be like there's two sides of it. There's the serial killer side that's got treated like shit by women. His mother treated him horribly, left him, whatever the case may be. Affected this person, turned him into a crazy person, so they just go out there and do these horrible things to women. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not getting revenge by success. That's getting revenge by getting revenge. Getting revenge by being successful is doing good things in the world, is doing good things for yourself and for your family. So those people that are bashing on you sit back and go, God, man, I wish I was part of that ride. You want them to say, God damn, man, I would, and I've done this numerous times in my life. There was my old show in Orlando. There was now also, truth be told, is nobody's perfect. Nobody's right. There are a lot of things that I've done in my life that I don't necessarily regret. I just wish they would have been done differently. But I didn't know. Right. So, you live, you learn, and, you get through it and stuff. And I've made up with some of these people that I fucked up on. And when I've done that, just most recently up in Chicago, one of my old program directors who actually got in the business as my intern, we had a huge falling out in Tampa. We hated each other. And we hadn't talked to each other in years. And this guy behind the scenes was bashing me and, saying things that could affect my career. I mean, doing some unethical shit. And I the same to him, just because of our hatred for one another. And then when I saw him up in Chicago, I said, enough's enough. I love the guy too much. I really, really do. And I sent him a beer. And he came over to my table, and we sat there, and we hugged it out. And we both apologized. And he said, no. And this is how big he was, because he's a big deal in the radio business. He says to me, he goes, after I apologized profusely, he said to me, he goes, no. It's not all you. He goes, I was young. I was dumb. It's just as much my fault as it was yours. And I mean, I was like, we both grew up right there. I don't care how old you are. Everybody can still grow up and everybody can still learn. Right. But there are people that I still haven't, we haven't mended the fences, so to speak. And there was my old show in Orlando. I purposely imploded that the last year because of a meeting I had when everybody turned on me. And I walked out of that meeting and I said, watch this, motherfuckers. I'm going to go off and do something different and be successful, and you're not. And I was right. You know, everybody from that show is nowhere near where they should have been to this day. You know, one guy's drinking coffee by himself after a divorce and hasn't seen his kids. The other guy's living his life on the beach doing something. That guy should be extremely successful because he's way talented. But, you know, it just didn't happen for him. And that made me happy, you know. Now, today, does it make me happy? Not all of them. 1, yes. 2, yes. 3, no. You know, I'm talking about people. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. No, I got it.
If you're trying to play along. Nate knows who I'm talking about. Brandon's going, man, I hope I'm not number 4.
When you talk about
see,
artists
maybe-
earlier, I was thinking about painters, so.
No. These are people. 1, 2, and it's like a Dr. Seuss book.
But maybe the guys in Yellowstone, if they would have just ordered each other a beer, talked it out, there wouldn't be so many dead guys.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. Because those, like, when the Duttons kill somebody, they're justified in killing them. Like, they really, really are. I mean, the shit that people try to do to the Dutton household is crazy, right? And they get back, and they don't blink an eye. They're okay with it. And it's pretty badass. They're like justified. And so like in season 4, which you'll see, Nate, Beth does something that almost ruins her relationship with her father, Kevin Costner. And he says to her, we fight to win, but we fight ethically. We don't take advantage of the weak. You know, you take it, you if you're going to fight a fight, you make sure it's a fair fight. If they make it unfair, then you even the odds. However you have to do that, you even the odds, but you start out as the good guy. You know, and the old mindset is wait to get punched. But that's not necessarily the case anymore. I don't necessarily. My brother always tried to teach me that. He's like, you never throw the first punch. Fuck that, dude. You know what's a great defense? A better offense. How about that? Like I don't know.
That's also how you go to jail.
Yeah, but no, this conversation is not about legalities.
Okay.
This conversation is about revenge and a TV show getting you there. And what is revenge? And could a television show be the black cloud that makes you go back to liking revenge? And then what does that get you? Is it healthy, unhealthy, and can it get you in trouble? And is it too time consuming? Those answers I don't those questions I don't have the answers to. I'm just telling you that this television show has got some kind of fucking effect on me. It doesn't make me want to be a cowboy. It just makes me want to get revenge like I used to feel on certain people. You know,
I can see that.
that's why eventually I can't deal with people that aren't on time. I can't deal with people that don't do what they say they're going to do. I don't deal with people that discount me. I just throw them away. That's why I'm probably not the best sales guy. And I know I handle all the sales for this show. So I try to make it clear to our sponsors, look, you tell me we're going to be somewhere, I'm going to be there. I'm not kissing your ass. It's just not going to work. I'm not good at that. You know, it's not that I dislike you. I'm just not very good at it. So my wife was like, why don't you let me take over some of these responsibilities? But thank God our sponsors are so good. I have not had that issue at all as of late. Or as of yet, I should say, which is good. All right. Thank you for those 2%ers that subscribe to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Of course, Wednesday's the Black Clouds, the freebie, the OG podcast. If you're listening, thank you so much. Use our sponsors. They're really good people. And we've got so many different sponsors that you might not always hear on Wednesdays. That's why you got to subscribe. And you can do that by going to jasonbailey.com. Our new website will be up soon. I don't even know what the URL is going to be. I know I purchased them, but I don't know what it's going to be. I guess we probably shouldn't say it until it's up.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good one though, right? I think I picked a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The BS is not available. We tried to bid on that. It is available, but the guy won't get back to us on a price. The Bailey show is not available. I don't know why. Some douche has it.
Is that the guy with the cat on YouTube? Probably.
Yeah.
The guy with the dog.
Oh yeah, the guy that has the handle on YouTube. You know, so please like and follow on all social media platforms. We're there: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Especially the YouTubes. We need to get those subscriptions up. That's a free subscription, but you know, Brandon does a really good job of posting clips throughout the day. So if you kind of want to get a taste of what the other shows are like, you know, because on Monday and Fridays we do more of a radio type of show with the BS. Then on Tuesdays, Smarta Marta, fan favorite, it's back, quote unquote. And then on Thursdays, we do the good, bad, and the ugly, which we cover 3 news stories that fit under those categories. So if you want to see or hear what those are like, we post these video snaps up on YouTube and Instagram. All right. Got anything before we go?
That is it.
All right, good.
Happy Wednesday.
Yep, bye.